What's up guys, Real Camacho here. So as you probably know, they do have a preview available for the patch 5.2 patch notes. It's still pretty early on, so I'm sure stuff is still going to change. They'll probably scrap some ideas and probably add some more stuff. So this stuff is not yet set in stone. However, they are talking about doing a lot of big changes, so I thought it'd be a good idea to go over it. Right now I'm not on the PTR or anything, I'm just basically in 5.1 and I'm going to be comparing what the patch notes say to what we have currently live. So I'm just going to start from the top of the list and work my way down. Alright, so first off is a change to Invocation, and that's basically just the talent. I don't use this ability or this talent just because Enchantress Ward is just so amazing at the moment, but what Invocation does is it reduces the cooldown of Evocation by 10 seconds, but you passively regenerate 50% less mana, and then completing an Evocation causes you to deal 25% increased spell damage for 40 seconds. And the change that's coming is Invocation now removes Evocation's cooldown, so basically you can use Evocation whenever you want. And it reduces its channeling time and duration by 50%. A completed Evocation now grants 15% increased damage. It was 25% for 1 minute, and it was 40 seconds. And the passively regenerate less mana is still implemented, but the only thing that's changing really is you're allowed to use Evocation whenever you want, and then basically the damage is a little bit less, but it's lasting longer. So in the end it kind of balances out, so it's not really that big of a change. And the cool thing is since Evocation's not really on a cooldown anymore, you can basically just do this 3-second Evo and basically have that spell damage increase whenever you want. So I may play around with this. I probably won't use it. Enchantress Ward is my favorite right now, so it's something I might give a shot. If you use it right now, then that's a pretty cool thing for you. But let's go ahead and move on to the next one. Alright, the next one is a change to Greater Invisibility. This talent is basically just, as it says, a Greater Invisibility. The cool thing is when you cast Invis, basically you have to wait like a couple seconds in order for you to actually vanish. With Greater, it's like an instant Invis. As soon as you hit it, you go Invis and it removes damage over time effects and stuff like that. So basically the only change that's coming to that is they're lowering the cooldown. Right now it's 2.5 minutes and they're changing it to 90-second cooldown. So you'll be able to use it more often if you do use this ability. However, I see Cold Stat being a little bit more beneficial because it does have healing, and then you also get that second ice block. Alright, the next one is Frostbolt, cast by your mirror images. It now does 50% more damage, so they're buffing our mirror images, which, you know, I'll take any damage buff I can get. Nobody's ever going to complain about something doing more damage, so that's a cool one coming, and I'll definitely take it. Alright, the next one is really big, and I was really surprised when they said that they were going to put this one in here. It's actually Improved Counterspell has been removed. That is a huge one, guys. If you don't know what Improved Counterspell is, let me get it for you. Right here, Improved Counterspell, your Counterspell also silences your target for 4 seconds. So basically, even though you don't have to lock them out on a spell while they're casting, you can use Counterspell on them and it'll blanket silence them for, you know, that 4 seconds, and, you know, you just don't have to worry about them being able to get any heals off or anything like that. So it's really helpful if you're trying to burst down a healer or something like that and you're getting him really low and you want to make sure he doesn't have the ability to heal or anything, so you can, you know, Counterspell him, get that stuff off. But unfortunately it looks like they're going to be taking that out. So I'm sure Counterspell is still going to be in the game. You're still going to be able to spell lock people, but however, you're just not going to have that 4-second silence on the Counterspell, which is going to be something we're going to have to get used to. But I mean, we had tons of CCs, so I'm sure we'll be completely fine. But you know, like I said, it's definitely going to be something that we're going to have to get used to, because I've had this ability, you know, since I can remember. Like, since I've been playing a mage, I've had Improved Counterspell, and the thought of that being taken away is kind of weird, but, you know, like I said, I'm sure we'll be fine. Alright, the next one is going to be to the Glyph of Fire Blast. I'm sure you all know Frostbomb has been nerfed when it comes down to the Glyph of Fire Blast. If you use the Glyph of Fire Blast, when you have Frostbomb up, it'll only do 50% of the damage, and so I guess they figured it's not that viable anymore, so nobody's going to use it. So they're actually replacing Glyph of Fire Blast, and it's going to be called Glyph of Inferno Blast now. And it says, Glyph of Inferno Blast causes damage over time effects to spread by Inferno Blast to 1 additional target. So basically, I think it's 2 right now, so it'll be 3. Yeah, so I mean, that's it pretty much speaks for itself. The next one is an ability I've never used, and most mages probably don't use it, which is going to be Blazing Speed. You can't go wrong with Ice Barrier. Ice Barrier, just having that absorption, is definitely going to be more OP than anything else that we have in that level 30 talent. But basically, what Blazing Speed does is it procs when anything that yields experience or honor, and basically it's got a 25-second cooldown, and it procs, and you will move 150% faster for 1.5 seconds. And the change that's coming to that is you're actually going to be able to trigger it at will. So I'm guessing it's still going to have that 25-second cooldown, yet you'll be able to, whenever it's up, you can use it, and you don't have to wait for them to actually hit you in order for it to proc. Which is pretty cool. You know, I really don't think many mages will switch to Blazing Speed. Like I said, Ice Barrier, can't go wrong with that. And but that's a pretty cool spell if you use it. You might use it for fun or something like that, but I really don't see it as, you know, something that mages are going to be like, oh crap, let me switch to Blazing Speed from Ice Barrier, because I just see Ice Barrier still beating it in the long run. Alright, the next one is a nerf to Cold Snap, unfortunately. Right now, when we use Cold Snap, it heals us for 30% of our maximum health, and they're changing it to where it's only going to heal us for 15% of our maximum health, so it's like a half nerf. You know, I'm sure we'll be fine, like I said, but definitely nerfing our healing. I mean, it does do a lot of healing, I'm not going to lie, right now, so, I mean, it would probably make it a little bit more interesting, and make it a little bit harder for us to survive, so, you know, make it a little bit more fun. Alright, well, the next one is going to be to Ice Flows. I don't use this ability. Palm, Presence Mind, if you don't know what Palm means, is just way too viable for me to get Ice Flows. Basically getting that poly, instant poly, or that instant Ring of Frost is going to beat out Ice Flows anytime, ever. So basically all they're doing to Ice Flows is it now has a 45-second cooldown instead of a minute. I guess they're just trying to get more people to want to switch to that, since it has a less, you know, a smaller cooldown. But I think I'm still going to stay with Palm or Presence of Mind, because I like getting that instant poly or Ring of Frost when I need it. And then the next couple ones are basically just mana tweaks. We really don't have to worry about mana right now unless you're like spamming Spell Steal or something. Like, mages never run out of mana. So basically it just says Scorch now costs 3.5% of base mana, and it was 0.1%. So they're upping it a little bit, but I'm sure it'll still be fine. The next one is going to be a mana tweak to Arcane Blast for Arcane Mages. Mana cost has been increased to 1.66667% of base mana, and it was 1.5%. Not much of an increase there. I doubt you'll even see a difference. The next one is going to be to Frostbolt for the Frost. Basically, they're changing Frostbolt a little bit. It now deals 24% more damage, but its debuff no longer increases subsequent Frostbolt damage. So basically, it's just, they're going to make it do more damage, but instead of like, I'll attack this thing right here. As you can see, once you attack it, you get the stacking debuff, that movement speed, and then the increased damage, as you see. So basically, you're just going to get that increased damage like right off the bat, so it's not even that big of a deal. Let me just kill this thing really quick. Alright. So yep, that's another change coming. So our Frostbolt's going to be doing a little bit more damage, but if you really think about it, I mean, you kind of use Frostbolt as a gap filler. It's not really like our main source of damage. I guess now that it does a little bit more damage, we might try to squeeze one in every now and then. But basically, if you're going to be DPSing something down, you're going to be using, you know, your Frost Bomb, or you're going to be using your Nether Tempest or something like that as your main source of damage. You know, you kind of use Frostbolt as a gap filler. But you know, that's kind of cool. I'll take the extra damage. And the next one and last one is going to be your Water Elemental. It's affecting its freeze. Now the freeze no longer does damage and only provides Finger of Frost on a successful freeze. So basically, I like that. You know, it's not like it did much damage anyways. So now that the damage is gone, that's perfectly fine. I don't even care about that. It has to do it on a successful freeze. I don't think that will, you know, even freaking matter at all. It's probably going to be the same as it is right now. Basically, I freeze whatever I go after, as long as they don't have any kind of movement immunity thing on them. So basically, not really scared about that. So there are a couple in here that you know, definitely are gonna actually affect us, like the removal of improved counter spell and the cold snap not healing as much and stuff like that. But all in all, I'm sure we'll be fine. They're doing a lot of changes to classes. Like I said, this is still really early on, so I'm sure eventually, some of this will change. They'll probably add some more in. I wouldn't be surprised if they end up nerfing Nether Tempest, because Nether Tempest is really strong. I actually switched from Frostbomb to Nether Tempest because Frostbomb wasn't doing as much damage. I was like critting like 30k on when I'd use my Fire Blast trinket, or not trinket, Fire Blast glyph, and it just wasn't cutting it for me. So I switched to Nether Tempest, and you get so many procs on that. It does a crap load of damage, so I'm really enjoying that. So I wouldn't be surprised if they actually tone that down a little bit. Alright guys, well I hope that informed you on a little bit. I hope you helped you out. If you know of any changes that you've heard of, like rumored or anything, leave them down in the comments. I'm curious to see if they're adding anything else. This is just what I've seen from MMO Champion and stuff like that. So definitely, if you hear of anything else, don't hesitate to leave a comment, because I am interested to know what's going to be changing. But like I said, I'm sure a bunch of stuff's going to be added. They'll probably scrap some of these ideas or just do something totally random. Alright guys, well, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe, leave me a like. I really do appreciate it, guys. Alright, and don't forget about my giveaway I have going on right now. I'll probably have a link for it at the end of this video, and go check that out if you want to enter. And thanks guys for watching, and I'll see y'all next time.